Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeremy here at ExtremeWeatherTracker.com, updating your tropical weather at 2 p.m. on September the 2nd, 2011. Have two main areas I want to talk about here in the Atlantic today. First is Tropical Storm Lee, located here just to the south of Louisiana in the Gulf of Mexico, and also Hurricane Katia, located here just to the north and east of the Leeward Islands here, moving to the west-northwest. So let's start with Lee. We'll start with his floater, and this is a tropical storm that just got named today at 1 o'clock, and has 40-mile-an-hour sustained winds. But you can see most of the convection is weighted off to the north and east side here, and that's mainly due to an upper-level low that's situated over southeast Texas, drifting to the southwest. And it's injecting a lot of dry air off of the very dry coastal plains of Texas here into the western side. So you can see the western side is very void of any convection. Most of the convection is centered on the north and east side of the system. That should continue to be a problem. The upper level low is forecast to weaken and move away, and then there's a possibility that you could start filling out on this western side, which would definitely be beneficial for Texas if this western side actually started getting some rain bands and started bringing those into the coastal areas of Texas. That would be great for Texas, although at this time it looks like our rain chances are going downhill fast. Now let me show you the model tracks for Lee, and this is why I'm really not very confident in the forecast at this point. You can see Lee initiated here south of Louisiana, and the models are just a mess. Some of them take it off to the southeast, some take it off into southeast Texas. They do loops, they go inland and then come back out. And this is really hard to forecast. The steering currents is really weak right now. There's just nothing to push Lee around. He's drifting off to the northwest slowly at about 4 miles per hour, but is expected to drift back to the northeast. I feel like what will happen is eventually he'll drift off to the northeast toward the southwestern Louisiana, before getting pulled back northeast by this shortwave trough that's forecast to come through. So I'd say a landfall anywhere between Lake Charles and say Vermilion Bay area, Matagorda, somewhere in this area, not Matagorda Bay, I'm sorry, Morgan City rather, somewhere between maybe Lake Charles and Lafayette, somewhere in there, possibly as far east as the southeastern portions of Louisiana, but probably get pulled in and then maybe jump back out here and then go down the coastline for a ways before going into Mississippi, Alabama area over in here. But the bottom line is that Louisiana, especially the coastal portions of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi in here is really going to get pounded with rain. Probably this area here receives a foot and a half of rain, but in southeast Texas we might get an inch if we're lucky out of it. Probably just get some really brisk north winds, probably 30, maybe 40 miles per hour down toward the coast here as Lee makes his closest approach before moving northeastward. So at this point the forecast is rather uncertain, and as you can see from the floater, he is getting better organized, some decent outflow up here on the northeast side, but all of this dry air, you can see this dry air just getting sucked off of Texas and pushed right into this circulation here. So he's going to battle this probably Lee's whole life and then move inland somewhere here in the central Louisiana before making the pass down the coast. So that's the forecast at this point, subject to change. If it does change here in southeast Texas, the further west he would go, the more rain we would be likely to get, but at this time it doesn't look like he will move that far west. He will probably bobble to the north very slowly, and the impacts will be felt greatly here in south central, southeastern Louisiana. Now let's go over to the water vapor loop, and as I told you, this dry air, you can see it just getting pulled into the system off of Texas. He's trying to moisten up his environment a little bit, but it's really not working out real well for him. But you can see the decent outflow here on the north and east side, so he's trying to get better organized. And if he don't, he's forecast to move on shore somewhere around Sunday night into Monday. If he can make it to Monday without moving on shore here, probably could see a Cat 1 here, moving on shore somewhere here in central Louisiana. But again, the forecast of this is very discombobulated, as you could say here, and he is really just wobbling around out here, and his forecast is zigzag, make loops, you name it. So it's really going to be hard to pin this one down, but we'll see soon how this ends up playing out. Now, if we go over to Hurricane Katia, you'll notice that she's looking a little better, although dry air is still getting entrained into her system as well, keeping her a little bit weak. But she is forecast to move off to the north-northwest, and or rather the west-northwest, and strengthen over the next few days into a major hurricane. And you can see on the model tracks here. Here's the model tracks for Katia, and actually at a Category 1 status, and some of them bring her fairly close to the southeast United States in this area here. So this is something the southeast United States is definitely going to have to watch. We're hoping for a recurve out for these areas that got impacted by Irene. So Bermuda and also the southeast coast of the United States definitely needs to watch Katia very closely. And I want to show you this is the European. This is the latest European run, and we'll talk about both of these systems. As you can see, here is Tropical Storm Lee here, and moving into central Louisiana. And if we go out to Sunday and Monday, you can see Lee making his closest pass to southeast Texas here, and actually moving in here close to probably Lafayette, Louisiana, and then actually just jogging down the coast a ways before going back inland here. And then you can also see Katia moving toward the southeast United States here, and actually making a brush fairly close right here, and actually right before recurving. I don't know if I agree with that sharp of a recurve, but it is possible. But really giving a scare to these folks along the southeast coast here. So this is something we're going to have to be watching over the next couple of days. See how close Lee comes to southeast Texas. Louisiana is definitely already feeling the impacts. Some areas could receive 20 inches of rain, but I believe southeast Texas should just get some brisk northerly winds, and then maybe a couple of inches of rain, maybe at the most, depending on its eventual track. So we'll see how close he gets, and I'll also be watching Katia in the future. So once again, y'all keep checking back, and I'll keep updating. This is Jeremy at ExtremeWeatherTracker.com. See you all again soon.